Will moving abroad reduce your masking? Hey dudes, what's up? My name is Levente and this is Autistic Success. So today I want to talk about masking, and actually I want to talk about the question whether you mask more abroad or more in your hometown or country of origin. So basically a long time ago, when I was still living in Hungary, my country of origin, I used to think that if I move abroad, my whole masking is going to disappear like immediately, and I'm going to mask much less abroad. And this is a very interesting question because it has proved to be completely wrong, of course. So I would have 3 or 4 points to this question, or sides or aspects. So basically, do you mask less abroad? The first answer is yes, but this comes with a caveat. Basically, you do mask much less abroad if you do spend a short amount of time abroad. Let's say you are on holiday. So this is what I have observed in the past few years. Now I've been living in Switzerland for quite some time. But when I go abroad on holiday, let's say to Southern Europe or even to Thailand recently, I mask much less than here, living here. So if I spend some short amount of time abroad, you do mask much less. And I think this is due to the fact that if you go, let's say, on holiday abroad, so you don't live in that place, you're going to mask much less because basically you have not really any ties with the place, and you don't really have any legal obligations to show up, let's say, to work or to family members or whatever. So basically you have no ties and no emotional or other bounds or other expectations or other requirements which you have to follow. So basically you are just free in another country. This mostly, as I said, is the case if you are on holiday abroad, or maybe like a short-term stay, let's say 1 to 3 months or something. Then the answer is yes, you do mask less abroad. The second point is, or second phase is, if you actually move to another country, then this first phase where you actually do mask much less, or maybe you don't mask at all, is going to last very short. Maybe even if you do move to another place, maybe even a few days only or a few weeks. And then actually real masking begins or continues, depending on how much you masked in your own country. So my experience was that after the short amount of like optimism and some euphoria that I'm moving to a new place, and maybe for this short amount of time my masking disappeared. Once I actually moved there and once I settled down, and basically once you subconsciously realize that you are living now in a new place with new expectations, with new rules, with new bosses, with new workplaces, with new connections and requirements and legal obligations and laws and whatever, then actually my masking skyrocketed. So this was my case when I moved to Switzerland like 8 years ago. That basically after a short amount of optimistic euphoria, my masking probably increased like 10-fold or 100-fold compared to how much I masked in my original country, because everything is new and you just have to learn everything and have to figure out everything. You don't know anything because it's a new place. So basically I subconsciously started masking extremely strongly because my mind or body told me that I must make this now work, and I must succeed here in this new place, in this new job, in this new role, in this new environment with new people, new bosses, everything new. I don't know anything and I don't want to screw this up, so I better hide myself, I better mask as much as I can, and then eventually as I start to figure things out, then I can step by step maybe reduce my mask a little bit. So this is the second phase, that basically your masking increases insanely. And then the third phase is, or like the third aspect of masking abroad is, I think it really depends on your environment. So, for example, on the job you do, or what you do, or the connections, the people around you, the like family ties. So basically, your living arrangement is gonna determine how much you're gonna mask. So, for example, when I was still doing my PhD, I was still masking a lot because academia is very strict and conservative, and it made me mask a lot. But at the same time, actually, the whole lifestyle was quite chill, and except for being at uni directly, I was masking much less. And then when I did start my corporate R&D job, then I started masking insanely heavily because I was obviously spending all day in the company. Then, for example, there in the corporate job, I did mask much more than in general during my PhD uni lifestyle. So this third point is basically the immediate environment, living arrangement, where you work, what you do, whether you study, you work, how you work, or what your employer is, what your living and work arrangement is. And also, I would say the people who you are surrounded with. Do you have any autistic confidants who actually you know you are autistic and you can really be fully relaxed and open up with them, or not? Or do you have a relationship, or do you have friends actually? So it really depends on who you are surrounded with and what kind of an arrangement you are living and working in. And finally, the fourth aspect is, maybe this is a long-term development of masking abroad, is depending on the country itself. And this is why I've been recently thinking about moving from Switzerland to, let's say, Thailand or Southern Europe in long term, because I think, let's say you have lived abroad, you have learned all the rules, you have figured everything out, you're fully confident and relaxed and safe, and you feel like you know everything about the country, which is for me definitely the case now. After 8 years here, I know everything I need to know. And also you have, let's say, figured out your job, a work arrangement, people you're surrounded with. So the whole work and living arrangement and lifestyle of yours is also relaxed, and also basically pretty much doesn't require masking at all. This is also the case for me at this point by now. And then the rest only depends on the country, how the general lifestyle is in the country. Is it more relaxed? Is it more like spiritual? Is it more strict? Are there heavy rules in a society? Are people expected to follow very heavy rules in the society? Or is it a low structure society with chaos and nobody follows the rules, so you are also not expected to follow the rules? How much you can actually pull through and establish your own rules? So basically, it depends on the society and the country you are living in. And this is what I've been feeling now for quite some time, that, for example, Swiss society is very rigid, very conservative, very probably the most strict and most rigid external rules in Europe. Very demanding in that sense that external structure is very high and everybody is expected to follow them quite strictly. The society in general is very, like, I would say, it gives you freedom and it's kind. It's not abusive by any means, but it also expects you and wants you to comply with their rules and external structures to a very high level, probably the highest level in Europe, I would say. So basically, it is kind and non-abusive society, but also an extremely structured, extremely conservative, and extremely strong external structures and rules, extremely strong rules and many rules, which you are almost always expected to follow. So this has been, for example, bothering me for quite some time, and I am considering to move to a country with lower rules, or lower expectations, and more freedom in that sense that you are not expected to follow external rules as much, because external rules are not as strong or not as strongly enforced, let's put it this way. So this fourth aspect is definitely depending on the country and the society itself, how much freedom they give you. Is it a nice and kind society, or is it more like an abusive society, for example, like Eastern Europe, where I'm from, where rules are lower, structures are lower than, let's say, here in the West, but the general society is very abusive. So you are going to mask not because of the fact that you have to follow rules, but because of fear, because society is so abusive that you're going to be afraid to show yourself. So you are going to be masking yet again. Compared to that, here in the West or even Switzerland is much better. You have personal freedom and relatively kind society, but extremely strong structures, which eventually might or going to coincide with your own structures very strongly. So this is basically where I am at, that my structures, rules, lifestyle is very well established by now, very strong, and it just overlaps and coincides a lot with the country's structure and rules. And the country is not really giving me too much of a leeway here. The country enforces its rules and expectations and external structure and framework quite strictly. So it's not like chaotic structure where you can establish and set your own rules. So this is probably why in the long term it's going to be a mismatch. But yes, so these 4 aspects or points which I wanted to explain today. So I'm really keen actually on hearing about your opinion, experience, and where you are currently. Are you in the first short-term unmasking euphoria phase, or more like the freshly arriving and insanely heavy masking phase, the third phase where you are established and basically you can get a very, I would say, highly unmasked state abroad, or finally when you are in the, I would say, in the final stage of unmasking journey abroad, where you are just checking how much the country's vibe is matching your vibe pretty much, and how much your structures and rules and your lifestyle can align and work with the country's expectations and rules itself. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share today, this quick idea about how moving abroad affects masking and whether it is for you or not. So moving abroad is not like a clear yes or no solution for most autistics, I think. But depending on the country where you are from and depending also on the state of your unmasking journey, I think it can be a huge development. So for example, for me, it has definitely been a game changer, but maybe it's also going to be a game changer if I move to another country in the long term. So yes, this is what I wanted to share today. I'm really keen on hearing your opinion and feedback and your unmasking journey. So stay safe, take care, be good as always, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.